Good day, viewers. Welcome to another episode of Tech Talk Show. The Dimensity 9200 is the newest version of MediaTek's flagship Dimensity chipsets, and it will start showing up in smartphones before the end of the year, in order to compete with the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2. This episode will go into deeper detail about this new processor and compare it to the recently released Qualcomm Snapdragon 8 Gen 2. To learn more about that chip, watch our previous episode. Before we begin this episode, allow us to present Mr. Sajad Khan, the CEO of Silicon Valley Global Philippines, Inc. Welcome, sir. Having you on board is a pleasure once again. Without further ado, let's begin.
Okay, and today's episode will talk about MediaTek Dimensity 9200 chipset. And MediaTek basically has been around for a very long time in the mobile CPU market or mobile hardware market as SoCs. Recently, they released their flagship Dimensity 9200 chipset, and this 9200 chipset is their flagship chipset in the market right now. So in Apple we have A16 Bionic chip, and we have Qualcomm Snapdragon 8 Gen 2. There's the new one, and so we have the MediaTek. Basically, MediaTek is been in the market for long again, and MediaTek normally handle the mid-range mobile market. So what we mean by mid-range mobile market is they don't really go in the past into a head-to-head with Apple or with the other flagship like phones like Samsung, phones. So, but this time MediaTek is trying to come out from low, mid, and also high-end mobile market. So, to discuss a little bit more about that one, if we see MediaTek, we did not hear much about MediaTek right now. Yeah. We only hear mobile brands, mobile phones, but we don't normally hear the processor market that much. So or the hardware of what phone is using what hardware. We don't go for that little bit. We only talk about maybe the Apple and Samsung and some other brands like Vivo, Oppo, and some others, right? So today, MediaTek flagship Dimensity or MediaTek companies, basically their chipset, they are controlling the majority of the market share in the market right now on the SoCs. So Isha, why do you think that? What is the market share of MediaTek in the market or comparing to the other competitors?
It's 39%.
Yeah. So MediaTek is in the market and having a 39% market shares, and we talk about on our last episode about Qualcomm Snapdragon processors, generation 2, version 8, right? So, but in the MediaTek, if you talk about Qualcomm right now, everybody's talking about it. But MediaTek, many few people. But you see, the market share of MediaTek is a lot higher than even Qualcomm, right? So Qualcomm, then I think the after that is Apple. So. The MediaTek basically again follows on the lower end market and medium range market, but with the new CPU they're trying to come up with the new market that they're trying to get. So we saw some I watched basically some videos of one of their technical guy from China. One of the Chinese technical guy, and he was saying that we're not very focused in the past about the high end mobile market because we were too busy entertaining the medium range smartphones. Okay, so anyway, so we talk about Dimensity 9200 today. So to go for more deeper, we will talk about the more on this CPU today. So I will ask Atif to talk about the MediaTek Dimensity 9200 specification or more details about this chipset?
For the MediaTek Dimensity 9200 hardware specifications, let's start with the CPU. It uses a standard 1 plus 3 plus 4 design with the Cortex X3 running as the prime core at a clock speed of 3.05 GHz. It's joined by a trio of Cortex A715 performance cores at 2.85 GHz and 4 Cortex A510 efficiency cores at 1.8 GHz. This setup is made using the TSMC's second gen 4 nanometers process, which is optimized for improved power efficiency in combination with MediaTek's innovative thermal package design that keeps smartphones cool. Of course, there is no compromise in the performance as the Cortex X3 is the most powerful ARM core to date. With the new core, the SoC offers a 25% performance boost, while the ARM Cortex A715 is 20% more powerful than its predecessor. Performance levels were already breathtaking on the MediaTek Dimensity 9000 chipset, but with its successor, manufacturers will have ample opportunities to innovate and introduce new and compelling smartphone features. There's more in this department though. MediaTek Dimensity 9200 is the first chipset to adopt the LPDDR5X memory standard that's noted to be the fastest ever smartphone memory with the speeds of 8,533 megabytes per second. It's also the first chipset to grab UFS 4.0 plus MCQ support, offering ultra-fast transfer speeds. For the GPU specifications, powering the visuals on these displays will be the brand new Immortalis G715 GPU from ARM, which boasts 11 cores. It comes with Vulkan 1.3 support and offers hardware-based ray tracing. Ray tracing enables ultra-realistic graphics such as ray-traced reflections, soft shadows, and ambient occlusion to make gaming more immersive. This means phones powered by this new chip are all set to be highly coveted objects for all gaming enthusiasts out there. Then there's the MediaTek Hyper Engine 6.0 technology that combines a host of bleeding-edge features focused solely on giving gamers a more smooth and uninterrupted gaming experience, no matter how intense their sessions get. This includes motion blur reduction, adaptive gaming technology, and frame rate smoother 2.0. Among other things, similar to previous iterations of MediaTek Hyper Engine gaming technology, there's a variable rate shading and a networking engine to sure that one can play their favorite titles at a stretch without any distractions. As for the AI specifications, for taking care of AI tasks, MediaTek has equipped its latest and greatest offering with a 6th generation APU 690. It promises to offer up to 35% faster and 45% more power efficient performance compared to its previous iteration. Cameras will also benefit from the AI processing unit in many ways. An upgrading deep learning accelerator, or in short DLA, makes its way into the chipset, boasting a mixed precision mode for faster and more efficient face, scene, and object detection. Additionally, this chip's new AI video engine will fuse the APU with the ISP to enable up to 8K to 30 FPS videos with EIS support, with up to 12.5% power savings. Then all-powerful SoC also benefits from the MediaTek AI to PQ Plus technology, which is aimed to creating cinematic video by identifying regions, objects, and scenes within each image to apply select enhancements such as AI color, blur mitigation, and more. The ultra-fast M5G modem on the MediaTek Dimensity 9200 has its own chips. However, This allows the in-chip modem to offer faster networking searching, quicker connection, recovery while coming out of the dead zone, and other intelligent enhancements.
Okay, so there are a lot of things in this new MediaTek Dimensity 9200. So these chips has a very powerful CPUs and good GPUs, and at the same time it has a very powerful AI engines basically. So and it is using the TSMC second generation's 4 nanometer process, which is a very very power efficient, and at the same time it is basically the pure 64-bit bit
Or CPU.
core CPU. So all these things are because of these things you can see in the market the new flagship phones are trying to come and use their CPUs as CPUs. So I will ask in the market what are the rumors in the market that what are the brands and what are the products will be use these CPUs.
So in the flagship smartphone brands that will adapt to this CPU, so far we've seen rumors of two main smartphones ranges that are expected to launch with the Dimensity 9200 inside. So the first is the Vivo X90 series. Vivo's senior vice president and CTO Shiyu Jian appeared in a pre-recorded video at MediaTek's executive summit shortly after the 9200 announcement to confirm that Vivo will launch the first smartphones powered by Dimensity 9200. This will most likely be in the Vivo X90 range, expected to launch in China soon. Most leakers expected Vivo to use MediaTek and Qualcomm chips across the three phones we think we'll see announced, with the standard Vivo X90 most likely to feature the Dimensity Silicon. Joining this could be the Oppo Find X6, expected to appear around March 2023. While some rumors have suggested it will use the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2, which is Qualcomm's brand new recently chipset, then Oppo has a history with MediaTek. The company's Find X5 Pro was one of the first to sport Dimensity 9000, albeit only in China. So seeing the new chipset in the upcoming flagship Oppo device would make a lot of sense. Like the Dimensity 9000 before it, the 9200 is built on 4 nanometer processing node by TSMC with chip based on ARM V9 architecture. It uses updated version of ARM V9, though, including the Cortex X3 CPU core and Immortalis G715 GPU.
Okay, so I think a lot of rumors are there. I think there will be more basically brands will join. There are other brands that beside these two brands. I think there are Sony, there are Xiaomi, and there are Nokia phones, and there are JT and some other Chinese brands and some other brands also. In the Philippines we have a brand as well. So I think they might all these mid-range or a little bit high-range mobile brands might get into this MediaTek Dimensity 9200 SoCs. What is SoC? So it's system on chips.
Yeah.
So system on chips meaning unlike before we are using different things.
Yeah.
Like one we did not talk about core like octa-core or hexa-core, but before we have one CPU, two CPUs like that. So right now they're putting all them together in CPU and GPU together.
Yeah.
So they're having this, they call it SoC, system on chips. So to talk about more, we'll talk about a little bit more about this chipset, and I think we go a little bit comparison now on this chipset. We talk about on our last video. We talk about the Qualcomm Snapdragon 8 Gen 2, and on today we talk about the MediaTek Dimensity 9200, and of course there is our very popular iPhone processors, which is A16 or A15 Bionic or A16 Bionic chips, right? So we'll go a little bit deeper into the comparison. So I will ask Isha to talk about this comparison, these three phones.
So for the benchmark of MediaTek Dimensity 9200 has a single score of 1306, while the multi-core score of 4989. On the other hand, the Qualcomm Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 has a single core score of 1483, which is faster or has higher score than MediaTek Dimensity 9200, while on the multi-score core score has a 4742, which is a lower than the multi-core score of MediaTek's Dimensity 9200. The Apple's A16 Bionic chip, which has a league on its own, has a single core score of whopping 1883, and the multi-score core score, on the other hand, a 5282, making it faster chip in the market today, but of course it comes up at the premium price.
Okay, so so we have anyway. So you talk about these three processors in the market, and of course Apple being Apple is designing their own custom CPUs and custom GPUs. But I think recently Apple is still using Snapdragon GPUs with them. But this is a very good improvement for, Apple already have their long range plan in the past, and they already have their CPUs built. Unlike before, they were using Intel and some other Intel processors, right? So Apple came with the biggest score in the beginning, and still leading basically on the mobile processors. I think even CPU processors or laptop processors. But this MediaTek Dimensity really coming up very the difference between these two these three chipset are not basically is ignorable basically, because when we talk about the speed does not matter with only the CPUs. It matters with the GPUs. It depends on what kind of AI the chipset design engine are being used. Sometimes what are the neural engine they have been using, and also other hardware like RAM, memory, and some other things. So today we will we'll basically wrap up with our things that the Dimensity 9200. Even we can say this is on the single core they're number 3 out of these 3, and but on the multi-core they are basically very near to Apple Silicon. So, and of course all these 3 chipset are using in their background ARM technologies or ARM engine. So they just customize the power, they customize the designs, they to have their chipset different from the generic version of ARM chips. So all of them, I believe, are using similar ARM chips architectures and designing their own customs power, what issues and some of the customs designs they're making to have a little bit different from each other. But we see that the difference are not too much because of Dimensity 9000 phones will not have a lot of cost than an iPhone today. So of course, so that those people who are not really looking for scores, I think Dimensity 9200 chipset phones will be a market leader, because it might have the different prices. For example, it might have like if Apple phone is like $1,000, it might be on the level of $500-$600. So it will have a big difference on the cost measurement to the phone market. So I think Dimensity 9000 really came up with a very good speed and scores in the market, and they will still keep going on their leading market shares in the market. So we will not talk about more today, and we will wrap up with our Tech Talk show for today. Thank you very much.
So that concludes our today's episode about the MediaTek's flagship Dimensity 9200 contender for Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 and Apple's A16 Bionic chip. Once again, thank you to our CEO, Mr. Sajid Khan, and thank you viewers for watching, and have a nice day.
Hello world! Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for our future videos.
And if you have any further questions, please comment down below.
That concludes for today's video, and this is Tech Talk Show.